So let's talk a little bit about protective orders. Protective orders are quasi-criminal instruments. So that means they're kind of criminal and kind of civil, and you don't have the same rights that you have when you're charged with a crime, but it can have permanent life-altering consequences. So if you are served with a protective order, you need to take that very seriously. So usually this is how it happens. You have some sort of argument with your wife, maybe you get arrested, something like that happens, you get served with the protective order. The protective order, if you get served with it, there's two kinds. There's emergency protective orders, and there are just plain vanilla protective orders. The emergency protective order will expire after 60 days. You have to follow the orders. It has already been signed. It is a judge's order, and you have to follow the dictates of the emergency protective order. That means that they have found that there's a likelihood that family violence may occur in the future, and that you need to follow the orders to avoid further family violence. So that's important. Number one. Number two, the second kind, the plain vanilla protective order is usually served to you by a process server. They come to your door, they come to your office, they find you in person, and they put into your hands a protective order. Now that protective order is different, okay? There is a court date, and what comes with it is a temporary protective order. So while you're waiting for that protective order, that court date, that temporary protective order is an order that you have to abide by. You cannot break the temporary protective order. It doesn't matter if your girl says that she wants you to come over. It doesn't matter if you get her permission. It doesn't matter if she tells you that it's going to be dismissed. If that temporary protective order is in place and you're found with a protected person, you're going to be arrested for a new offense. It's a new criminal case. It's very serious. So what you have to do is you have to go to that court date. If you don't go to that court date, you'll get a default judgment, and that default judgment can have permanent life-altering consequences against you. You can, for instance, if you have that permanent protective order, you may not be able to carry a firearm in the future. You may have an affirmative finding of family violence made against you, and you might not be able to get custody of your kids. It can have lots of problems for you in the future, so you need to hire an attorney and take fighting those protective orders very seriously. There's another form of no contact, and that is a condition of bond. Those go along with criminal cases, and usually the criminal case will have conditions of bond and say, look, you have to follow these rules to stay free and out of jail. And sometimes those conditions of bond include a no contact order. If you get that, you need to hire a lawyer who can then modify, usually with the protected person's consent, modify those conditions of bond. So we've covered three things. We've covered emergency protective orders, we've covered protective orders, and no contact conditions of bond. You need to take all three of these things very seriously, and you need to hire a lawyer if you face any of them. Good luck.